Hello, my name is Chris Shea. I'm a financial advisor with BPS Financial Services. This is a presentation on home ownership, aka buying a home. Again, I am Chris Shea, financial advisor. I am a retirement planning and investment partner with my clients. I help them plan and then implement their investment strategies, hopefully help them get the results that they're looking for. Grounds to cover today. First time buying. Why buy? Are you ready? What type of home do you want? What can you afford? Interest rates change daily. You got to figure that out. Pre-approval documents, mortgage types, using a realtor, offer process, closing process. A lot to know. It can be confusing. Lots of people want to tell you what's in the best interest of you. Hopefully this will give you some ideas on what actually is in your best interest. So first time home buying. What do you need to know to make buying your first home easy, relatively speaking, and affordable? Probably most important, don't buy too much house. Buy what you can afford. Live within your means. You'll have a much happier life, even if your house isn't quite as grand as you dreamed it would be for your first time. Why are you going to buy? There could be some tax deductions. There could be long-term appreciation on your investment. Emphasis on long-term. If you're looking to get a fix up and flip, that's not buying a home, that's an investment property. Also can gain equity in your home. It's a great thing. And one of the things that I loved when I had a home and owned it, control your property. You can do with what you want. You want to rip up that rug? Go for it. You want to change out the windows? Go for it. Again, if you can afford it, but you don't have to ask the landlord. It's your property. You can do with it as you please. Are you ready to buy? Lots of questions here. Do you have a steady income? Banks are going to look for that. You'd have down payment available. 20% is what's optimal, so you don't have to pay any insurance on it. But some programs start off at 5% or less. Do you have low to median debt? Are you paying your bills on time? Do you have the ability to actually pay the mortgage that you're going to be taking out? All of these things are things you need to assess and answer the questions on. Next, you got to ask, what type of home do you want? Where do you want it to be? Do you want it to be a new home? Do you want it to be an old home, a fixer-upper, something that's move-in ready? You're looking for resale value. Do you want that fixer-upper? How many bedrooms? How many baths? The two of you with more coming on the way? Or do you have your family pretty much set at 3, 4, 5, 6 people? Again, where do you want to live? Do you want to live in the suburbs? Do you want to live in the city? Do you want a condo? Do you want a lot of space and a big yard? All these things are things that you need to consider when you're going to look into buying your home. How much home can you actually afford? The recommendation is that housing costs are no more than 29% of your gross income. All right. So that means taxes go into your housing costs. Your mortgage goes into your housing cost. Your insurance goes into your housing costs. Those are your housing costs, right? No more than 29%. That means if you make $100,000 a year, $2,900 for mortgage, insurance, and taxes. A lot of people will forget about the insurance and taxes, get in over their heads. Housing costs and debt. Student loan comes in a factor here. Credit card debt. Car payments. No more than 36% of your gross income. Again, that can be a challenging number for people. They want to put in, get a bigger house. They're going to go higher than that. It's going to put a strain on your finances. Figure out some methodologies by which you can get under those numbers. And you may have to do some special loan consideration and programs. I don't know, but those are the recommendations that we have so that you don't overbuy a home and get yourself in a financially stressful situation that can actually make your house not really a home. Pre-approval. You hear about this all the time, pre-approval, pre-approval. It's very important. Know what you can afford before you go out and shop. You don't want to think that you have enough income to afford a $700,000 house, only to find out that you can only afford a $500,000 house. You're going to be extraordinarily disappointed when you go out and start shopping for a home and you can't afford to buy what you think you can buy. Additionally, it shows sellers you're serious about buying. You've gone through the process. You've figured it out. You know you're going to buy a home. You know that this is what your budget can be. Sellers are going to be very appreciative of that when you put in your offer very quickly. And that's the other portion of it. You don't have to then wait 2 or 3 months to get an offer in. You can put one in right away because you've got the pre-approval and you know where you're at. Documents for pre-approval. This is where the mortgage company or bank is going to come in and they're going to ask you a multitude of questions to get you to where you are ready to go out there with your pre-approval in hand. Pay stubs, couple months, taxes, couple years, list of long-term debt, student loan, credit cards, car payments, recent bank statements, 4, 5, 6 months to want to make sure that money's going in and out appropriately. Again, tax returns, proof of additional income. We've all got a side hustle now. You got to be able to prove it. You just can't be taking the money under the table and not paying tax on it. You got to be able to prove you got income from a side hustle. Those are the things they're going to be looking for. Now you're going to hear about a fixed versus adjustable rate mortgage. Adjustable rate, fixed rate. What do you do? Depends on your circumstances. Adjustable rate. Payments increase, decrease, changes with the interest rate. You never know what your payments are going to be. They could be really low. They could be higher. You don't know. Their increases on them are subject to limits as well. They are linked to a specific index or margin. Advantages include a low initial interest rate with potentially lower monthly payments. But on the flip side, they could dramatically increase because it is adjustable. And as rates go up, your adjustable rate mortgage is going to go up. Fixed rate mortgages tend to be what most people do, at least at the start. Remain the same for the payments. On the mortgage, your taxes are going to change, but the mortgage is going to stay the same. Be 15 or 30 years. Sometimes you might be able to get longer, a 50-year mortgage. Again, it's predictable and stable, and many consider this to be the best option for a non-investment property. Again, it's going to depend upon your financial status, but this is usually where people go as a fixed rate. They know what they're going to pay, and they know they're going to have it for 15 to 30 years. 15 to 30-year term, 15 years. Loan is generally at a lower interest rate, and equity is built faster because you got more payments for the principal. 30 years, the first 23 years, more interest than principal. This could potentially have a larger tax deduction for you. I'm a big proponent of the longer the payment period, the better, just because it allows you more flexibility to pay it off. The payments tend to be lower in 30 years than in 15 years. And again, gives you that flexibility in how you're going to choose to put your money into things. Can help you with investments, paying for other things in your life. But again, that's a personal choice that you want to look at the numbers and do a comparison. Realtors. I know realtors just want to sell you a home. I've got a little different take on it because my mother was a realtor for 35 years. She helped a lot of people find the homes that they want, and they protected the consumer from making potentially choices that would not be in their best interest. Okay. What does a realtor really do? They take you through the process of buying or building a home for you. Usually they know the community really well. They can help you get introduced to members of the community. They can tell you about the schools. They can tell you about the town government. All these things are of benefit when you have a realtor to guide you through the process. I know that there's apps out there, but they can also provide you with lists of homes that might not be listed, and they might have contacts for people that are thinking about selling a home in the future that are off market now that you might have access to in advance of them going on the market. And again, they're going to know the tax implications. They're going to know a lot of the different nuances in the towns that will save you time in having to do research. How do they protect you? You're represented by somebody on the other side. They've got a selling agent usually. The listing realtor is bound to protect the seller, not the buyer. The buying realtor, your realtor, is there to protect you so that you don't go into a situation and circumstances where things don't go well for you. Home inspections, they come up all the time. If things go wrong, the realtor can guide you in helping to negotiate and work through what's a good thing to work through and what's not a good thing to work through, where you might want to walk away from the home as well. Because sometimes not buying the house is the best thing for you. And a realtor can help with that. Begin looking for a home. Where do you start? Right? If there's two of you, you got to compare a list of must-haves and compare, because you're going to have different perspectives on what you must have. Got to imagine your future there. Got to imagine in all seasons. If you live in the northern climates, winter, summer, spring, and fall. In the south, winter's not quite as bad, but you got to figure all the seasons. You got a lot of trees. You're going to have to rake a lot of leaves. Maybe something you do and don't want to do. You know, I asked the realtor to point out pros and cons for you, because they're going to be able to look at it objectively, because they've seen a number of homes over the years. Whereas a first-time home buyer, everything's wide-eyed, everything's great. Bring the professional in, pros and cons of every circumstances. What's the state of repair? How much work do you have to do? Are you handy? Are you not handy? Who's going to do the work? Who's going to pay for it? And again, the other question is, will your family grow? Will it, and that's not just with new children. That could be parents coming in and living with you. Will the home be too small? I don't know. These are questions you've got to consider when you begin to look for a home. Now it comes to the offer time. You're going to have a list of comps out there, comparables, that the realtor can bring to you. What's the conditions going to come up? How long has it been on the market? Has it been 3 months, 6 months, 2 days? That's going to impact the offer. What are the financing terms? Again, this goes back to your question about the mortgage. What can you get? You got to be prepared to negotiate, and you want to rely on your realtor for guidance. Sometimes you're going to have to put in an offer for over if it's highly competitive. And other times you can wait it out. Put in an under offer. See what happens. Earnest money. This is money you got to put in when you first put in the offer. It's usually between 1% and 5% of the purchase price. This shows that you're actually interested. Okay. If the offer is accepted, the earnest money becomes part of the down payment or the closing cost. If the offer is rejected, you get the money back. However, if you back out of the deal and you put in earnest money, you forfeit the money. So don't just throw earnest money around. It could impact you later on in your ability to purchase another home. Think about it. Making the offer, again, your realtor is going to assist you in this, but there's going to be a legal description of the property. The amount of earnest money is going to be in there. You got to put your down payment and financing details in the offer. Closing date, the actual price you're offering. How long is the offer valid? A week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 days? Who knows? All of these are details that you want to put in there to make sure that your offer is the one that you want. A lot of things that have been happening recently are waiving inspections because the offers have been so high. That might be changing. Maybe you're going to want to put in contingencies. Talk to your realtor, figure out what's in your best interest as the potential homeowner and the one making the offer. Home inspection. Contract should be contingent upon it. In the recent past, there's been a lot of people ignoring the home inspection. Not recommended because you don't know what you're getting into. You got a professional inspector evaluate the safety and condition of the home. They'll tell you what's good, what's bad, what needs to be worked on. When we bought a home, found mold, able to reduce the asking price because of the mold, and we had to remediate it. Very important. This is where you can again start to negotiate some of the pricing. Structure, construction, mechanical systems, goes through, finds out all the information that's going on in the house, gives you a report, unless you make a more informed choice on whether or not you want to go through with buying the home or not. They're very important. Take advantage of it. Now you've gone through the home inspection, you actually want to close. There's going to be a lot of closing costs. What the heck is a closing cost? Escrow fees, property taxes, interest, loan origination fees, recording fees, survey, appraisal, homeowners insurance, title insurance, very important. Don't forget the title insurance. You need to have title insurance. Mortgage insurance, if that you didn't qualify with enough of a down payment. First payment of escrow, document prep fees for the lawyers. Lots of fees go into buying a home. Be prepared to pay for them because it usually comes out of the buyer's pocket. On closing day, present the receipt of the homeowner's insurance. Closing agent will list money you owe seller and money the seller owes you. It could be some back and forth in terms of things that are already in the house that you're gonna have to buy or pay for. Provide proofs of warranties or inspection on the seller's house side. Make sure you read all documents and sign them. Pay all closing costs and receive a settlement statement. Then the deed gets recorded. Very important that the deed gets recorded so the property is actually yours. That's a lot. It's a lot to home ownership. Hopefully you've got some tools in your toolbox to help you buy in the home buying process. If you got any final questions, feel free to reach out, ask me. Hopefully, if you got some evaluations for me, again, I'd love to hear back from you. Can always look for rooms for improvement. And hopefully you've learned a lot about the home buying process. Thank you for your time and enjoy your process of going through the home buying